Well, it's Feel Good Friday and we've got a 2006 Volvo V50 diesel. And we've got a clutch Rooney to put in it. So let's make a start on it. First thing, and as always, what we're going to be doing, airbox and battery tray out of the way. Now we've got everything out of the way, we need to jump around and remove the gear cables. On these, there's a little plastic slide. You push them back and they just pop out of this little bracket, which you need to remove because there is one bolt, which is right at the back there, which is a little bit fiddly to get to. We've removed the clutch feed pipe and also the reverse light switch. Everything else now is from underneath. Now we've got the vehicle fully raised. Now the reason why we're changing the clutch in this vehicle is a concentric slave has failed. As you can see, the bottom of the gearbox, and that is brake fluid. What we need to do now is I've undone the dry shaft, bottom ball joints, get the gearbox oil out, and also we need to remove this intake pipe which goes round the back here up to the turbine because there's a bracket behind it that we need to remove. Now once we've got the dry shafts out, we've made the start on the lower bell housing bolts. Now this bracket at the back here for the exhaust is a little bit fiddly to get out. I've just had to undo the V-band clamp on the turbo to cat and just wiggle it up, so it was a bit of a nightmare. Anyway, just going to undo that back bolt now for the bell housing bolts, and then we can come around the front now, get your lovely little transmission stand, come up, maybe we can get our 18mm on our ratchet and undo that gearbox and it'll just drop down. Once you've got the gearbox dropped down enough, there is a little bracket that sits on the top of the gearbox here that bolts it to the chassis, which is that one there. And once you've removed that with 315s, we can now get our long extensions and go straight through and get to the last two bell housing bolts. Now you've undone all your bolts, you get yourself a little pry bar now and go in between the engine or the block and the gearbox and just wiggle them loose, pull them off the dowels, and then we can get the gearbox down. Now as you can see, I've got the gearbox out and it is absolutely saturated in brake fluid. This is the concentric slave, if you didn't know what one was, and they're hydraulically operated. And what's happened in there, the seals have just burst. But however, on this occasion the clutch wasn't slipping, but it is heavily contaminated. It is false economy to be taking the box out and not putting the clutch in at the same time. So we're going to get some T40s now and get that clutch plate and pressure plate removed. Right, now I've cleaned the gearbox down the best as I can. It hasn't got to be perfect. We are now putting the flywheel on it, because once I've got it off, it's got far too much play in it. So we're putting a Schaeffler LUK clutch and a flywheel in it. Anyway, let's get cracking. And just with a little bit of magic, a concentric slave is now fitted to the gearbox. Whatever you do, I know it, as much as it's tempting, do not push it in and out. And also we've got the clutch plate, pressure plates and flywheel all torqued up using a little Allen key stuck down the side of the ring gear, and that'll allow you to get things torqued up. Right, let's get this gearbox back in. Now we've got it all built back up, what we're going to do is we're going to bleed the clutch, and I'm going to use a Launch Pro Brake 1 Plus bleeder, and it is absolutely insane. It makes the job so much easier. Slacken your bleed nipple off and you'll see all the air coming through, and you want to leave it about 20-30 seconds and get all that dirty contaminated fluid out, and then once it's all out, just lock that bleed nipple off. And that is finally now the car all put back together. All we've got to do is jump in it and take it down the road for a little bit of a test drive. What I do before I make a start up on the vehicle is jump in it, give the clutch pedal a bit of a pumperoonie and make sure we've got no restrictions whatsoever, get on the key and give it a big start-a-rooney. Right, let's go down the road. Right, now we're on the test drive. All we're looking for is any clutch slipping, which is absolutely perfect. Third gear, put your foot down and make sure we are not slipping, and make sure that we've got no rattles, clunks, scrapes, and the car is driving as it should. And that's it. I am happy with the test drive and the car drove absolutely perfect. And there you go. That is one concentric slave replacement on a Volvo V50. Anyway, everybody have a good weekend. Let's get it sent.